What's up, guys? Today I want to talk about Pan-Africanism and Afrocentrism and how it's been represented in the mainstream media. And the reason why I feel like this needs to be addressed is simply because of the misrepresentation that we've been seeing all this time, all along. You know what I'm saying? I feel like people have a fundamental misunderstanding of what Pan-Africanism and what the Afrocentric movement is. And so we'll be taking a deeper dive into what the Afrocentric is and what makes you Afrocentric, what is the goal of the Afrocentric, and etc. So that being said, let's just get into it. Alright folks, so now we're looking into it, right? And basically what I'm gonna say is Afrocentrism is looking at African history from the African perspective. So that, in a sense, that's why, things like ancient Egypt are big, because usually and early on, I even have like notes here from a while ago, and I'm gonna basically read it. And it says Egyptologists came at Egypt from a biblical point of view. They tried adding it to the Western world. If you ever seen the video of this scholar on breaking down the whitewashing in Egypt, it's basically that they were basically looking at Egypt from their own perspective and not from the perspective of the Egyptian or the African. And so this is why, and obviously there was racism and all that stuff, which is why they tried separating it. Now, over here on my computer, it says Afrocentrism is an approach to the study of the world history that focuses on the history of people of recent African descent. It is in some respects a response to Eurocentric attitudes about African people and their historical contributions. The reason why it's a response to the Eurocentric is because the Eurocentric is highly known for disregarding the Afrocentric or the African contribution to the world. This is very important to realize, because this is why things like claiming ancient Egypt and things like telling people about Mansa Musa and the Mali and West African empires and Great Zimbabwe, this is the reason why it is so important to the Afrocentric movement, because it highlights the African contribution to the world from an African perspective. You know what I'm saying? And so when we get into how Afrocentrism is represented, usually we see memes, the We Was Kings and all this crazy stuff, people claiming Wabo, like claiming to be Aboriginal Americans and all that. And I'm gonna just say this for the record, if anybody is claiming to not be from Africa, they're claiming to be separate from Africans, then they are not Afrocentric. You can't label them Afrocentric. You know what I'm saying? Even if they say something was black, they deny their African connection. So how on earth could you be Afrocentric? It's literally it's a disrespect to the movement and purpose of Afrocentrism. And me personally, as some member of the Afrocentric community, I don't like misrepresentation. You know what I mean? Christians don't like misrepresentations. Muslims don't like misrepresentation. And even as an Afrocentric, I always make sure I pay the respects to the different people and the different views. But I also require that people pay respect to my own views. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, that being said, bro, people need to quit misrepresenting Afrocentric and mislabeling people Afrocentric and Hotep. You know what I mean? Because and even people within the community, they basically look at Afrocentrism or the movement from the wrong lens. Most people look at it from, they look at it as claiming greatness and how they're the more superior, when in reality it's not even that. It's really just about acknowledging your history and your contributions, and that you are not down here like, racism told you. You know what I'm saying? What, society has told you. You know what I'm saying? It at least, lets you know you're the equal. You know what I'm saying? You have your contributions, you have your history. You know what I'm saying? That's the point that Afrocentrism brings to black people and people who study the field. And from Afrocentrism, we have a lot of great scholars. We have Dr. Ben, we have the Senegalese, I forgot his name, I'll probably put a name and picture of him here, and all this stuff. Now, even too, throughout the whole Eurocentric world, Afrocentric, the points Afrocentrism is made, is very profound. It's very undeniable. You know what I mean? Certain points that Afrocentric world made, and I'd like to also share with you guys a book that talks about ancient Egypt, and specifically the religion or the spirituality of ancient Egypt from an Afrocentric perspective. I feel like this will be a good book. I've seen a presentation about it. I haven't read the book yet because I have many other books, as you guys can see, that I'm reading through right now. But this book is called Ma'at, the Moral Ideal in Ancient Egypt, a study in classical African ethics. And so I feel like books like this, for especially those who are planning to go that route, we're leaving mainstream religion in order to, be a resource. Our traditional religions are, our ancient Kemetic, ancient Egyptian religions, you know what I mean? Books like these will probably help in guiding us so that we're not just out here floating around somewhere, you know what I'm saying? So generally, the point of this video is to address the false claims, but also to kind of have a guide, a direction to people who are new to Afrocentric, people who have the wrong ideas about Afrocentric, and the people who want to join. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, King BR out. Y'all have a good one.